You're listening to the Stoic Solutions Podcast, practical wisdom for everyday life. I'm your host, Justin Vacula. This is episode 67, Stoicism Not Feminism, a response to a New York Times piece titled What Feminists Can Do for Boys. Visit my website at stoicsolutionspodcast.com, where you can connect with me on social media, find past episodes, and join my Discord chat server for interactive discussion. Support my work by becoming a donor through Patreon or PayPal to access special rewards, including the ability to have upcoming guests answer your questions, custom-tailored podcast episodes, and personalized one-on-one discussions. Share, comment, like, subscribe, and leave reviews to help support my efforts. Email me with your thoughts. justinvacula@gmail.com. In a July 2018 opinion piece in the New York Times, feminist writer Jessica Valenti writes, "Feminist ideas can help men, be it the rejection of expectations that men be strong and stoic." What might feminist author Jessica Valenti mean by this statement encouraging rejection of expectations that men be strong and stoic? Should we not expect men to be strong or stoic? Should men be the opposite of strong or stoic? Here, Valenti doesn't capitalize the S in Stoic, so she doesn't necessarily lament Stoic philosophy. Maybe she's thinking about a typical dictionary definition of Stoic as a person who can endure pain or hardship without showing their feelings or complaining. It's unclear. What I talk about here on this podcast is Stoic philosophy, something in addition to mere endurance or resilience, one interpretation of a lowercase s Stoicism, but also a foundation for life based on values including courage, justice, moderation, and discretion. Aspiring Stoics seek to have an attitude of gratitude, acceptance, humility, and contentment, mainly or exclusively placing value on what's in their control, and not overly placing self-worth on externals, including social approval, either from men or women, wealth, or fame. For a fuller description of Stoicism, see episode 66, in which I talk about core concepts. Encouraging or expecting men to be devoid of emotions, bottling up their thoughts and feelings, and thinking of asking for help to be resignation, some negative thing, runs contrary to the message of Stoic philosophy. This surely isn't a worthwhile state to desire. In my engagements with children and their families, I often talk about ways to cope with hardships in life and encourage people to share their thoughts and emotions. I work to cultivate mental fortitude and mental strength. Stoicism and cognitive behavioral therapy, a counseling approach upon which I draw, can help us better cope with and even avoid intense negative emotions by altering our thoughts about the world, questioning our assumptions, and reorienting our desires or values, all without feminism. Why ought we reject expectations that men, or anyone else for that matter, be strong and stoic? What wisdom might we find in feminist circles, and why would men or boys want to be helped by feminist ideas? Whose feminism, anyway, shall we choose amidst a constant false narrative, some of it coming from Jessica Valenti herself, saying that men hate women so much that society is built and engineered to undermine and oppress women, boys are raised to hate women, men are violent oppressors in a culture which normalizes rape of women, and that masculinity itself is a toxic thing. Feminists lament behaviors of men, coining terms such as mansplaining and manspreading. They reject assumptions of innocence, instead conducting trials by social media, which ruin the lives of men even when accusations of sexual assault are shown to be false. Women who question feminist ideas are called gender traitors and sister punishers, who have internalized misogyny. See the Young Turks commenter Anna Kasparian, for instance, hurling invective at women who voted for President Trump. Male supporters of Bernie Sanders, dubbed Bernie Bros, were also portrayed as unthinking misogynist fools by feminists. People are glibly dismissed by feminists with thought-terminating lines such as tone trolling or check your privilege, and people are unfairly labeled as transphobic, racist, homophobic, ableist, and misogynistic. Misleading and false information about domestic violence, crime statistics, and pay of men compared to women is repeated. The list goes on. Cathy Young, in a Washington Post article titled "Feminists Treat Men Badly, It's Bad for Feminism," linked in the show notes, writes, "Feminist male bashing has come to sound like a cliché, a misogynistic caricature. Feminism, its loudest proponents vow, is about fighting for equality. The man-hating label is either a smear or a misunderstanding. Yet a lot of feminist rhetoric today does cross the line from attacks on sexism into attacks on men, with a strong focus on personal behavior, the way they talk, the way they approach relationships, and even the way they sit on public transit. Male faults are stated as sweeping condemnations. Objecting to such generalizations is taken as a sign of complicity. Meanwhile, similar indictments of women would be considered grossly misogynistic. This gender antagonism does nothing to advance the unfinished business of equality. If anything, the fixation on men behaving badly is a distraction from more fundamental issues, such as changes in the workplace to promote work-life balance. What's more, male bashing not only sours many men, and quite a few women, on feminism. It's no wonder why, although feminism is still popular and fashionable in many circles, with tremendous financial and media support, more people do not see the label of feminist as something positive. It's often far from what it claims to be, a positive movement of equality and advancing rights for women. Partially, as a response to feminism, many men are breaking free from roles of protectors and providers for women, manning up, as some say, expected to sacrifice time, resources, and ambitions to take care of a traditional family. Others rid themselves of romantic relationships and marriage altogether, focusing on other priorities, keeping society going, as mentioned in Epictetus's lecture on the Cynic calling. I further explore some of these ideas in episode 57 of my podcast, titled Men Going Their Own Way, MGTOW, with Sunrise Hoodie. Instead of looking to feminism for guidance, we can look to Stoic philosophy, which, far ahead of its time, advocates a true spirit of egalitarianism, stating that all people are capable of reason, learning, improving, being more compassionate, more understanding, more inclusive, and less judgmental. Wealth, country of origin, reputation, skin color, and disability aside, people, on the Stoic view, have value as living beings who are worthy of respect. We're even to pity those who seek to harm us and educate them if possible, rather than being driven by anger or resentment. Men and women can draw from Stoic philosophy to break free from societal expectations, questioning the crowd's common wisdom, and find meaning in life, pursuing virtue, engaging in self-improvement, making society a better place, and taking upon crucial roles, overcoming adversity and challenge, which is inherent to, as Marcus Aurelius says, doing the work of a human being. Men and women face many challenges in modern society. Even Jessica Valenti will admit that, although we might disagree on the causes or severity of particular challenges. Both men and women can be strong and stoic in the face of adversity, while still processing their thoughts and emotions in a healthy way with the help of Stoic philosophy, rather than taking on all the baggage, the negativity, which can come with feminism. Stoicism and even positive communities for men, which exist online, can help rid alienated men, Valenti mentions, some calling themselves incels, of tense, unhealthy desire for approval from women, which can be associated with violence and self-destruction. Rather than tying self-worth to sexual access or validation from women, or feel entitled to have sex with women, we can, as Seneca says, be our own spectators, seek our own applause, rather than dangerously placing our self-worth in the hands of others, or being resentful, especially given that we lack ultimate control over what others think of us. We can reorient our lives, engage in self-improvement, and find meaning independent of our romantic lives, or lack thereof, not thinking of ourselves as failures just because we fail to attract romantic partners. Indeed, some men and boys are in need of intervention, but I don't see feminism as the solution. Stoicism, rather than feminism, has much to offer men, boys, women, and girls. The ancient reflections of Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius, inherent in the modern revival of Stoic philosophy, are valuable resources for all. Even if we can find valuable information in some better versions of feminism, surely some in the audience will say, not all feminists are like that. Why would anyone, particularly boys and men, prioritize feminist ideas, especially when many feminists are like that? People like Christina Hoff Sommers, Ayaan Hirsi Ali, Camille Paglia, still using the label feminist, can be good resources, but there are many poor resources and approaches in feminist circles. Hoff Sommers herself even praised Stoic philosophy in at least one of her public appearances. Be strong, be stoic. Visit my website at stoicsolutionspodcast.com, where you can connect with me on social media, find past episodes, and join my Discord chat server for interactive discussion. Support my work by becoming a donor through Patreon or PayPal to access special rewards, including the ability to have upcoming guests answer your questions, custom-tailored podcast episodes, and personalized one-on-one discussions. Share, comment, like, subscribe, and leave reviews to help support my efforts. Email me with your thoughts, justinvacula@gmail.com. Podcast music, used with permission, is brought to you by Phil Giordano's symphonic metal group Fairyland from their album Score to a New Beginning. Thanks to generous patrons and fans of this podcast who help support my work. Have a great day.